Mario, welcome to this video and thank you for being the student today, and I hope...
My pleasure, Nico.
Thank you. I hope we can teach you something, and maybe a couple of other people as well. Feel free to ask questions as we go along. Just to put everybody in the picture, I haven't discussed this with you, but I was thinking of just doing yesterday's flight, to fly from LPPR back to LPPT, so that we have the ILS again, just to make it easier. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
All right.
That works for me, yes.
All right, okay. Good. So the flight is then from Porto to Lisbon, and we are going to cover the whole of SimBrief, doing the whole flight planning and the dispatch thereof, and then we are also going to create the flight in the Navigraph desktop chart application, so that Mario can use it on his tablet and I've got it on my second screen, and then we're just going to do the flight. So enjoy it with us, guys. Mario, okay, so the first thing we need to do is go to SimBrief and dispatch, the dispatch system.
Yes, sir. Okay, I'm in.
Alright, then we have to click on create a new flight.
Yes.
Alright. Alright, so we are going to fly for Mango Airlines again. So it is in your airline code, you need to add for us MNO.
Yes.
Alright, and obviously anybody else can change the airline code to whichever airline they fly for, but for our tutorial this is what we decided on. I'm going to use flight number 810.
810.
Departure is LPPR for Porto.
Yes.
And LPPT for Lisbon will be the arrival.
Check.
What was the ICAO for Faro again? LPFR?
LFR, yes.
Alright, okay, so we're going to use Faro as the alternate, and we're going to then select the airframe as being a B738, because we are going to fly the Zibo today.
Alright.
Okay. Before we continue, just to recap, the saved selection that I have for the OFP is Lido. I use Lido because it gives me almost everything that I need to complete the flight properly, and you will see as we do the tutorial where everything fits in together. Then the units will be kilograms. Our contingency fuel is going to be 5% or 15 minutes. And the reserve fuel is 45 minutes.
Check. Okay,
the only tick that I've got in the checkboxes is the one for detailed navlog, and I have made sure that I am on AirRack 1809, which is current right now.
Right.
Okay. To save it, you can just go slightly up again, just above your Lido. You see there's save default. You can just click it. It will remember those options. One very important thing to note is that legally you are required, also I suppose depending on country, but in our country, in South Africa, you need to land with at least 45 minutes of fuel to land legally, and then obviously you need some contingency fuel, so that can differ between countries as well as the standard operating procedures for airlines, but this is what we choose for this flight.
Alright, okay.
Mario, then under advanced aircraft options on the left hand side, just below your aircraft selection.
Yes.
Alright, the only really important thing here is to choose the correct cost index. You can leave it on auto as well, but in our airline we use 20, so that is up
20.
to you. I suggest we use 20, and then we have very similar figures at least.
Alright, it's 20.
Good. Alright, okay. The next section, optional entries, it tells us that the total schedule for this route is 1 hour 5 minutes. I think the flight time we said was something like 39 minutes that we did yesterday, but that obviously this one includes your taxi time, I suppose. Yes. Alright, the suggestion I want to make for everybody now is just make a note of your departure and arrival runway, because that's obviously based upon the weather that SimBrief picks that up. So we currently see that we are going to take off from runway 17 and land on runway 03, and then we're going to use this as the basis to do the flight planning. But obviously when we get into the aircraft, we're going to check the weather and just make sure that it is still valid and that we are going to use it or not. Are you happy with that? Do you have another suggestion?
Absolutely, yes, that's great.
Okay, good. Because this is a very short flight, we're going to do this at flight level 230. So on the right hand side under altitude, please just enter FL230.
All right.
Okay. Passengers, we might as well say full. You can make that any selection you want. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, in terms of cargo, I'm going to do as usual. I'm going to add 2 tons of cargo, and then I will let SimBrief decide whether he's going to keep it or cut some off, and then we can look at that in the AFP later as well.
Great. Okay.
Okay. So currently I have the Manny 5S departure, Manic in Zamax, and then Zama 8 Charlie. Does that look?
I have no, I have Manny 1R Romeo.
Okay, I'm going to change mine. No. We did the Manny 1R before. I think that's the better one anyway. So we're going to select that one. Okay, for the people that are not familiar with how we have flown this before, just a quick note. We used Navigraph yesterday, and then we looked at all the routes, and this was the one that we decided on. So when we do Navigraph, you can just follow us and see how we make the selection again. Alright, then all we need to do is click on Analyze Route.
Yes, and it's valid.
Fantastic. Alright, so Mario, if you just scroll down slightly, you'll see the graphic there, the map. That one looks fine to me. We don't see any issues.
That's exactly right, yes.
Fantastic. Alright, I suppose we are ready, then we can just click on Generate OFP.
That's done.
Okay, mine as well. Okay guys, so there are 2 things we need from this page. The first thing that we need is the PDF. So Mario, you need to click on Print View PDF and download, physically download that PDF somewhere where you can open it and we can work with it.
Yes.
Okay, the second thing that we are going to need is going to be the Explain 11 flight file, the configuration file that needs to be put into the Zibo. So there's 2 ways of downloading this one. You can either scroll down like I've just shown on my screen here and click the download button, then manually download it to your output FMS plans folder inside of Explain, or you can use your downloader that you get from SimBrief. If you go to Dispatch, under Dispatch there's an FMS
downloader. Download this manually. It's quicker for me. Hold on a second. It's in Output, FMS Plans, here. Okay, saved.
Alright, I just quickly on my screen used the SimBrief downloader because then I also get the PDF and the flight plan all in one go.
Okay.
Alright, so that takes care of the basics for us, and I now have the PDF on my screen. Can you open the PDF for us?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
can I close the SimBrief page?
Yes, you may.
We don't need it anymore.
No,
okay.
sir.
Oh, fine. Okay, so now.
Please, Maria, just stop me at any point in time you want to ask a question.
Thank you. I'm sure will. Okay. Okay, this is Excellent. I have the PDF open.
All right.
And
okay.
on the left, I can see a menu.
All right, fantastic. Yes, we're going to use the menu on the left. You can click on the arrow next to OFP already so that you get the sub-menus as well. And
yes,
the next thing we need to do is we need to use the highlighter. So on your row of icons, the far right one, it says highlight text. If you put your mouse on it, you just need to activate that.
Okay.
All right, okay. So this OFP is obviously current for today's date, time and weather. And you can see in the middle, just in the middle of the page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines down, you've got the LPPR plus a time of 1335, and then you've got LPPT and the time of 1436. So this is the expected times at which this operational flight plan is going to be valid for us, just in a nutshell, in layman's terms. Okay. There's obviously weather changes, the barometric pressure changes, the wind changes, the temperature changes, and all these things. So there's no point in using this flight plan and the data on it. The actual ATC flight plan you can use, but the weather data is going to be outdated in a couple of hours, even not even a day or so. So just bear that in mind. What we need to mark now is the CI. So the line where it says CRZ SYS CI 20.
Yes.
That's very important for us. All right. The average winds we need to mark at 356 at 012 at 12. And then the average ISA, our temperature, needs to be marked.
Yes, which is 13 degrees.
Yes, 100%. Then if we scroll down a little bit, under your planned fuel, the trip line is important. We need to get that.
Yes.
Alright, so this tells us that, I'm not sure your figures, but my figures are 1,919 kilograms. And
that's exactly what I have, yes.
Fantastic. Alright, and then the flight time is 41 minutes. The next thing which I want you to look at is 1, 2, 3 lines down, fin res. That is your reserves. Just highlight that line as well. From the trip, you've got 3 lines down is fin res, and then
oh yes, okay.
Yeah. Okay. My value is 1,756 kilograms of fuel, and that gives us our 45 minutes reserves. All right. The next thing that we need to look at is the minimum takeoff fuel. We need to make sure that we understand this. The minimum takeoff fuel when we get onto the runway needs to be 5,932. Otherwise, all the math that we do is simply not going to be correct. This value right next to it is the total flight time that the aircraft will have with the said amount of fuel. So we are looking at 2 hours and 17 minutes on my file. That is the total.
That's great.
Alright, okay, so anybody flying VATSIM and IVEO, this is the total flight time that you can file, so you don't have to guess. It actually is given to you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Imagine exactly, I was thinking about VATSIM or any online airline. What if there's traffic ahead or something, and you don't respect exactly this time, because you may, I don't know, wait for half an hour or something. What I mean, you're going to burn fuel.
You will.
I think.
Mario, this is why we pre-configure SimBrief with a 45-minute reserve. All right.
Okay, that answers the question.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. You will have 15 minutes if you look just a little bit above. Remember, we created 15 minutes contingency fuel. All right, so you have 15.
Yes.
Yeah, 15 minutes there plus the 45. So you've got an hour extra that you can play with. Alright, now believe it or not, I have actually held over London on VATSIM for an hour already once in my life, at least once. Alright, I know it happens when there are events, it does happen. Unfortunately, as in real world, when you get to your critical minimums, you're going to have to divert to your secondary airport. You're going to have to make a plan to get there, and unfortunately that is how it works in the real world too. If you just don't have enough fuel and you don't want to just switch off your simulator and you want to simulate reality, you're going to have to divert.
I thought, yes, sorry to interrupt you. I thought that when you reach minimum fuel, you ask for an emergency landing at the same airport which you're bound to.
No, you can.
It doesn't work.
No, you can.
Okay.
You can, very definitely. But if you are talking about a VATSIM or an IVAO event and there are literally 20 people in front of you, and this poor controller can't handle everything, you know, some of them are very good, very professional, very good, but there is a point in a workload where it gets too much, you understand? And if the guy really cannot, and if he cannot accommodate your low fuel emergency, I think let me put it this way, my personal feeling is just go to the alternate. If he gives you a chance, then obviously take the chance.
Okay, excellent.
Alright, the next line that we need to have highlighted is block fuel. This is
block fuel.
Yes, this is the most important fuel figure. This is what you need to pour into your Zibo when we're going to fly. As you're standing on the ramp and that fuel truck comes, this is what you ask the guy to put in, because this obviously then allows for your taxi fuel as well, and for the APU and things like that. So you have to put this in. Alright. Okay. The next thing that we need to look at on the menu on the left is times and weight.
Okay.
Alright, so what we need to highlight here is, if you scroll a little bit down the page, you will find weights, and then you'll see packs, and I've got 184.
184.
The cargo is 1.5.
1.5.
Okay, and this is exactly what I was referring to earlier. Remember, I chose 2 tons. SimBrief obviously calculated that it's impossible, it can't carry that much. It has shaved off the top, so it's given us 1.5 of the possible 2 tons. Alright, so we know that we should be okay there. Our payload in total needs to be highlighted. That is 20.7 tons.
Yes.
Do you have the same?
Yes.
Okay. Zero fuel weight 62.3.
62.3, check.
Okay, fuel is 6.2.
Yes. Takeoff
weight is 68.3.
68.3, yes.
Okay, and what do you have your landing weight?
66.4.
Excellent. Okay, so when we are doing the CDU programming, we are definitely going to use these values and cross-check them and see how that fits into the aircraft. Okay. The next thing, the next menu item is the Itc Flight Plan.
Yes.
Alright, so third line from the bottom on that page will be the speed that we're going to fly at, the cruising altitude, and then the Itc Flight Plan.
Yes.
Alright, so we still have the Mani 1R, Manic direct to Zamac 8 Charlie, ne? That's the
That's correct.
Great stuff. Alright, then lastly, in the OFP, we need to go to the airport WX list.
Yes.
Alright, and what we need to do there is just highlight for our own reference the departure, the destination, and the alternate METARs.
Done.
Okay, great stuff. So on LPPR, I currently have winds at 090 at 9 knots. It's variable. and the ceiling and visibility is okay. Temperature is 33, QNH 1017.
Exactly.
Thank you, sir. Alright, then we can move this out of the picture or minimize it, and then we can then we can go to our Navigraph and we can create the route in Navigraph.
Okay, check. Okay, Navigraph, I'm in.
Okay, so now I'm just going to drag this thing back onto the screen so I can show the people what I do. What we need to do is we need to copy the Itc Flight Plan. So we're going to copy it from our PDF, and then we're going to take it to Navigraph.
Hold on just a second, please.
No worries.
Okay, so the flight plan is in the Itc Flight Plan. Okay, copy that.
And then we take it to Navigraph. And we're going to add a flight. Yes.
And Navigraph. Add a flight. And then I copy the here, paste. Yeah, yes. But I still have to put hold on a second. I still have to put LPPR and LPPT, right? At the start. Sorry. LPPR and LPPT. LPPT. Okay. Now I should click in alternate. The route is invalid. Why invalid? Oh, because I know, no, my mistake. It's a typo. Sorry. No errors found. The route is valid. And its file name is required. I have to name the file. Flight name, LPPR _ LPPT. Okay, save. All right. Okay. Taxi. Okay, it's done. You want me to highlight that too? Okay. All right. Which is 10.3E. Click yes. Portal. All right. That is correct. The approach. That's it. Yes, that's exactly it. With the ILS frequency of 109.1, and the approach altitude, the interception is 3000, and the runway altitude is 329. So I guess we'll put 350 or something. I don't know. We'll see about that. Okay, that's done. -9. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Right. Yep.
Okay, so I've checked all the audios, everything is working, and the shortcuts will not be a problem again. So, welcome to the flight deck, and what we have here is obviously the cold and dark Zibo. This is version 329E for Echo, and I hope you enjoy the flight with us. Mario, are you ready?
I'm ready, Nico.
Good. Checklist. Let's start with the checklist. This is section number 2. So we're going to check the parking brake, and that's it.
Yes, and they're set.
The landing gear is down. Speed brake is down. Flaps are all retracted, they're up. And then battery. We need to check, switch the battery on.
Switch the battery on and guard.
Standby, guard down. Then standby power on and guard down. Generator disconnect. They are both guards down. And the bus transfer, that's guard down as well.
Yes.
Alright, so then we can go to ground services on the tablet, connect our GPU, and switch the ground power on.
That's done.
Alright, okay. What I am going to do is I'm just going to go to the home screen for the next section. So we need to go to weight and balance, and then we need to drag our Adobe file closer so we can see what the SimBrief OFP tells us.
That's right.
Okay, so on my video, I beg your pardon?
It's times and weights in the menu.
No, sir. The first, yes, sorry, yes, you're right. Sorry, my bad. Times and weights. Right, let's get there. Alright. Payload.
Payload is 20.7.
Thank you, and we can enter that. The fuel.
And the fuel is
6.2.
Yeah, 6.2.
Alright, okay. I see we don't have a CG shift problem again today. We are very lucky, so we remain on 0.
I got 24%, yes, in each.
24. Okay, but the CG shift is 0.0.
It's 0.0 centimeters, yes.
100%. Okay, now then we are
just
fine.
to make sure, takeoff weight 68.3.
Correct, 100% as per.
And if you look at the OFP, you will see there's a takeoff weight, which is exactly 68.3.
I see there's a small discrepancy with the zero fuel weight. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to leave it in the Zibo as it gives it to us.
62.1, 62.3. Yes. Okay. Well, I don't think this will have a great impact.
No, it will not. So, all right, then we can go back to our home screen on the tablet, and we can start the loading and cleaning, just to get the ambience, you know, make it sound real or better.
Start loading and cleaning, or start flight lag? Which one? I can't.
Loading and cleaning.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Thank you. Then we need to go to the next section. We need to verify that our weather has not changed. And we can do this.
Do that by by going to the FMC, right?
Correct. Yeah. Use your secondary FMC. And use the ICARs on there, and then you don't interfere with your primary.
All right.
So according to our SimBrief OFP, that
yes, what page?
right.
I never remember that. What's the page with the
airport WX list?
Yes. Okay.
It's very similar. It's got a slight change in the wind. The QNH is still the same. Temperature is still the same. So we're going to keep to the SID and star that was recommended to us, which we have pre-programmed in SimBrief and in Navigraph. Alright, then I just want to quickly set my internal and external lights before we continue, so that I can just actually see what I am doing here. My cockpit tends to be a bit dark with X-Vision, so I just want to switch everything on. Okay, I am ready for section 4.
Yes. Alright.
Okay, so we can then do the IRS alignment.
Okay, as I remember, you have to do two things.
Yes.
Both knobs to nav.
Yes.
And then the upper...
Yeah, the big knob at the bottom you can turn to
heading and STS.
Correct. That gives you the alignment time. So depending on your setting, we've got 1 minute basically to do the setup.
Okay.
So then we go to the FMC and we enter our position.
I think we better explain to the guys that we have to go to the next page and pick up a GPS coordinate, then paste it on the... Okay.
Correct. Let me explain that quickly. When you come from an FSX or P3D background, we are used to simply using the airport coordinates to do the IRS alignment. Now, there are a lot of instances where it will work with Zibo, and then you can trust me, there's going to be the days it will simply not work. The only proper real-world way of doing the IRS alignment is to go to page 2 and then select GPSL or GPSR. you will notice that there is a discrepancy, that if you look at the GPS coordinates and you look at the airport one, it's 40.5 and the airport is 40.6. So in other words, the aircraft is on the airport, but it's not in the same position at all. And if you do not do the IRS alignment properly and you do a very long flight, you can get IRS drift and you can get all kinds of problems in the real world. So the proper way of doing this, as Mario reminded me to tell you now, is to use second page GPSL or GPSR. There is a distance limit which I am not familiar with. I think it could be 1 mile, 2 miles or 4 miles. I'm not sure. If your distance from the airport GPS location and the aircraft is more than that distance, you will not be able to align the IRS with the airport coordinates. So just keep that in mind, guys, and it's easy to just go to the next page, grab it and put it in. How's that, Mario? That makes sense?
Yes, that's very clear. Crystal.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what is our next point?
The route page.
Correct. So we go to the next page. We can enter LPPR for origin, LPPT on the destination, our company route, LPPR, LPPT. I forgot the 01 at the end. Yeah, LPPR.
LPPR. Yes. Yes.
And then 01.
01.
Okay. And we said we are going to use runway 17.
Hold on. 17, yes.
And the flight number MN0810. Or whichever.
810.
Yes, or whichever one you use for your airline.
Okay. Shall we activate not?
Yes, please. And execute. All right.
Execute.
Yeah, in the real aircraft, the guy entering the data will never execute. The guy verifying the data always executes the flight plan. But because we are a one-man show, literally in the flight simulator, I just always click execute here. Then I don't have to come back later. All right. So then we click on departure and arrival button, and we go to the departure. Okay.
It's Mani 1R.
Correct.
Romeo. And execute.
Yes, please.
And then departure arrival.
Yes.
And LPT. It's ILS 03.
Correct.
And it's Xamax
8 Charlie.
8 Charlie. Okay.
And
remember that the glide slope must be on.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you.
And execute.
Execute, please. Alright, then I am going to go to the plan screen, and I'm going to just step through my legs. If I click on legs page, go to the plan screen, I can literally step through. Alright, I know mine is not, so we'll see now. Alright, there is one double, so I'm just taking that out. Scroll through further. There's another double, so we take Xamax over there. I'm back, and Xamax over there. Alright, so I've removed all the double entries, and it's perfect. Alright, so I'm just going back to my navigation screen, my map. Great stuff. Next, what's next on our list? We go to route, and then we go to perf inet page. Tell me when you're there.
Route? Yes, okay.
Alright, so then we click on the 0 fuel weight.
Which is correct.
And then our reserves. Yeah, I don't want to use the 05. I'd like to quickly go back to our OFP. Remember, we're going to fill in the plan as well, and then also the reserves according to the OFP. Let me just get that on the screen quickly.
Yes.
Just quickly get
Reserves.
Alright, our reserves is 1756, so we are talking 1.7.
1756. Okay, 1.8.
You can do that as well if you want. Alright, then
what did you say? I'm sorry. 1.1?
1.7.
1.7. 1.7. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, let's do the same. Okay.
Okay.
And the cost index is 20, as I remember.
It is 20, but before you go on now, remember
Yes.
the plan. I must be honest with you, in terms of flight simming, I don't know of many people who actually put the value in, but just to show the guys on the video, I showed you this yesterday as well, you can actually look at your trip and you can look at the fuel. The value there is 1919, so it's 1.9. And then you can actually add it under plan. So you've got plan 1.9/6.2, which is your total fuel. So we plan to use 1.9, but we have 6.2 available.
I'm not following you. I was talking about the cost index.
Yeah, and then
What
I
are you
said
talking
before you
about?
go further. We must look at the plan.
Sorry.
Okay, no worries. I presume you put the 20 into the cost index already. Did you put the
Yes.
20 in there? Okay, so that's when I said
I did.
before you go too far, just look a little bit up under your gross weight. You've got plan /fuel, and there were open spaces there.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's when I refer to the trip value that is on there is the trip value that is on the
Summer and
Adobe.
fuel.
Yes, so in the trip line, if you look at your OFP page on the planned field, it tells us that
It's 1.9.
1.9, and that's what I then enter
Yes.
in there.
1.9.
Yes.
Okay.
Alright. Okay, so the next entry will then be 230, I beg your pardon, for the cruise flight level.
But before we execute, we still have to put the
Yes.
wind and the ISA. Okay.
Let me bring
The
that
wind is
back on the screen.
356 -012, and the ISA is 13.
Correct.
Okay, so transition altitude is correct, is 4,000.
Yes, and then we execute.
Shall we execute? Okay.
Yes, please.
Now let me just no. Okay, let's go on. Okay, sorry, you can wait.
No worries. Alright, okay,
No,
so
it's okay.
this next page, the N1 limit, is something that trips a lot of people. I mean, they fall face down and then they sit and they don't know whether they Arthur or Martha and if they're coming or going. So I'd like to just spend a bit of time on this one, Mario, if you're okay with that.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
It's fundamental. Okay.
Alright, so the first thing that you need to get is your outside temperature. Now you can simply look up from this position and look above your engine displays. You can see the TAT is 34 degrees Celsius. Alright, so that's your outside air temperature. Now there's two ways of entering the outside air temperature. You can put your / and you can then add 34. So you have in your scratch pad /34, and then you press line select key left 1 and it will enter it for you. Right. The other way of entering it is simply by clicking that line select key, the top left one, clicking that twice. It will put the outside temperature in there for you. So you either type it in or you just double click the button, it will put it in for you. Alright. Then I want to bring my performance calculator onto the screen here, and I want to use the sim brief as an example. I can't show both at the same time, but what I also thought was I will put the SimBrief OFP that we are using with the highlights in place. I'm going to put that as a link underneath the video, so anybody watching the video can just download the same OFP that you and I are working on now. Okay, so they can refer back there. The first thing that we need to do on the calculator is we need to put in LPPR, which is our airport. We're going to take off runway 17. The winds, let's quickly have a look, see what did the wind say. 100 at 7. Come on, I want to backspace. 100 at 7. Alright, the outside air temperature is 34. The actual temperature, I see the meter still says 33. Our QNH is 1017, and according to our OFP, our weight, the takeoff weight that we have is 68.3. We've talked about this a few times. We know that is correct, so we're just going to make it 68,300 kilograms. We're doing a flaps 5 takeoff. The air conditioner will be on, the anti-ice will be off, and we are going to use a non-derated, in other words a normal rated takeoff, and then we hit the calculate button. Mario, I'm sorry you can't see the calculation now, but you'll see it in the video. So the calculation,
exactly. No worries. Yes.
Okay, the calculation that we get is we need an SEL. The assumed temperature is supposed to be 55. So we can go back to our FMC and we can add 55 in SEL, that very top line. So you will have SEL is 55 and the outside temperature is 34. You can, okay, you can add that, eh?
Right.
Alright. Now, one of the discussions that got kind of heated 5 o'clock this morning South African local time on Facebook was exactly this SEL, assumed temperature. This is extremely important. One of the guys on the Zibo community group actually, Mario, I don't know if you saw this, you must go look for this, eh? He posted,
I have seen it.
yeah, he posted an accident that happened, oh sorry, I rephrased that. It was almost an accident that happened where I think it was an Indian aircraft had the wrong performance calculations. The first officer did it correctly and the captain overrode the first officer's suggestion, and then they almost had a fatal accident in London. So there's a whole write-up on the Zibo community group about the importance of this. This SEL, assumed temperature, is going to influence the thrust that comes out of the engines. It's going to influence the ability to climb. It's going to influence the ability to get over hurdles, you know, at the end of the runway. You know, it's going to do a whole lot of things. Plus, it's going to work out an economical rate for you to climb under the current atmospheric conditions. So this disregarding any flight simmer's opinion in the real world is very important. This is not something that you play with.
Okay, so let me just add this as a lateral information. The higher the figure in the SEL, the smaller is the power you need. If you try, for instance, to put 66 as a number, you will see that the power that you need
is reduced.
Is much less. It's reduced by
yes.
a great margin, ranging to 91%. Now, why is this important? If you put some people use the local temperature multiplied by 2. If you put 66, the turbines will exert a pressure on the first stage of only 91%. you will not be able to take off. It's as simple as that.
Exactly. Coming back to the rule of thumb, I have used the rule of thumb many times, but it is because I know the limits. I mean, if you just do yourself a favor, put 68 in the SEL and you will see there's no thrust. The aircraft really cannot take off like that. Okay, exactly. So the rule of thumb of multiplying the value by 2 is very good when you have an outside air temperature of 20 or 25, but it's no good when you're in the 30s. Your density altitude is going to be on an airport, you know, this altitude is probably going to be double the figures at least. So you're looking for trouble because the air density is just not good enough. You'll never get in the air if you don't have enough thrust. So this is why it's important to work it out.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. Yes,
exactly.
Okay.
Mario,
so we're on the same page. Yes.
Yeah. I have said this offline a couple of times, but now I'm saying it for everybody to hear. I love the fact that you're an engineer. You can understand there's something like a parameter and to work it out to work properly, you know, so I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Okay. Alright, so the calculator tells us it is 55, and that is what we are going to use. Now you can skip the SEL, just as a matter of interest. You can skip the SEL and you can select a D-rated takeoff of 1 or 2, but then the question is exactly everything that we have just discussed. Now you need to take everything into account. Will there really be enough thrust? Will there really be enough power in this aircraft to lift the load, to get over the hurdles, to climb efficiently, etc.? So in my mind, I mean, I spent, I think this is €10 at Sim Market for this performance calculator. It's not going to break the bank, and it really works. So this is one way that I do it. And I've got 2 other utilities as a matter of interest, Mario. I also use PFPX for flight planning from time to time, and that is linked to TopCat, and that also gives me my SEL temperatures. So anyway, I can use any one of them, but I highly recommend anybody who wants to fly properly and don't want to guess values, this is the way to go. Just go to Sim Market, get this calculator and get it over with.
Okay.
Alright, thank you for your patience. Let's move on. So we can go to the takeoff screen.
Yes.
Flaps 5, eh?
Flaps 5.
Alright, I've got
and
the CG.
Click on the speeds.
Yeah. CG first and then the speeds. I saw the speeds came up first, so I mean, I don't mind if you do it that way around, really, but I just
I'm sorry, you were right, yes. Trim for, okay.
Alright, are you ready? Did you complete that, Mario?
Yes, and then yes, that's complete.
Alright, okay. So then we move on to section 6 of the pre-flight procedures.
Yes.
Alright, so that
and
goes to the
upper
overhead
panel.
Yes.
Your damper.
That's on. Crossfeed is closed.
Closed.
Fuel pumps all off.
Off.
Alright, radios, we can set the radios.
Okay, well, I know this because I've done it many times. The active frequency for Lisbon is 109.1. Okay.
Alright, I've got that.
And the transponder should be in standby at this moment.
Correct, and I'm just setting my standby, my transponder code anyway while I'm here. Right. What is the course? That's 26 on the Navigraph maps. That ILS, can you remember? I think it's 26 because I'm still on 26 here. Yeah. So the course heading that we need to put in on the MCP is 26.
Yes. It's Lisbon. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, 26. Yes, but excuse me. Why do we need that now?
You can set it in the air, or you can do it now. While we're doing the radios, you called out the nav frequency of 109.10.
Yes.
So that's for the localizer, all right?
Yeah, right.
To set up the ILS, I beg your pardon, that's for the ILS as such. But your localizer course also, I mean, the two for me goes hand in hand. So I just look up and I quickly do the course heading as well, and then I know it's done. So it's, I think, let's call it for convenience.
No, you're right. You're quite right. That's okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
So it's just convenience on my side. I'm obviously going to double check it when we are approaching the airport, but now it's in anyway.
Let me just check one thing, if you allow me, please.
Sure.
Hold on a second. Yes, you should look at the legs. The legs are not correct.
Oh yes, yeah, I remember you were saying something like that.
We must change Xamax.
Yep.
To
230.
230. And execute. Bottom the same. Sorry.
Yes, thank you. No, you're right. You're right.
Yes. Then execute. Let's see next page.
Alright, we need to change PT 402 and 403 as well.
It's not correct. Yes, it must be 3000.
Correct. Guys, and if you are watching and you're wondering why we're saying that it's on the charts, if you read the charts, you will know why on earth the plan imports incorrectly. I cannot say, or why the CDU works it out incorrectly. I cannot say, but it's our responsibility to
I
fix
have
it.
a theory about that.
Okay.
Maybe we should have put the cruise altitude before, when we were in the perf initial or whatever.
Yes,
maybe
yes.
If we put the maybe just a speculation.
Look,
let me just
no, or sorry, all I want to say is that takes you out of the flow of the checklist, but you might very well be right. The next flight we do, we can go and test that, eh?
Okay, so let's check the altitudes. 3000, 6, 175, level 230, and then 161, 96, 70, 3000, and then we intercept at 3000. It's okay for me now.
100%.
Okay, right.
So thank you for reminding me.
No, you're welcome. Of course.
And
okay, now.
Sorry, just want to mention this. This is obviously one of the traps that we fall into because we're a one-man show in the flight simulator. Remember I said earlier, the guy in the real world that enters the plan never executes the plan, because either the first officer or the captain will enter it, but the second person will then execute it when it's done. And that's obviously when the next guy would have picked up, hey, listen, this is not verified correctly. He would have changed it and then executed. But because we're one-man shows in the flight simulator, this is how easy it can be to make a mistake, eh?
But it's also easy if we are two to correct each other, which is great.
Fantastic.
I mean, it's like I'm the co-pilot.
Yes, yeah, I love it. I can do this again. Alright, okay, so the next thing that we need to do is check our altimeter and the units of measure. So we are in hectopascal and we need 1017 according to the meter.
1017. 7. Check.
I'm just quickly pulling a new meter. Yeah, it hasn't changed. Right, yes. Good, checked. So that altimeter is done. Then, back to the overhead. We need to check the cabin utility and the IFE pass seat. They are both on.
Hold on just a second, please. All right, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you? Yes, yes, they're on. Okay.
Okay, and then our exterior doors we don't have, so that's fine. It's closed.
Okay.
Our push and start clearance we're going to ask for right now, so we can go to our tablet and we can go to ground services and better pushback and then do the pre-planning.
Okay. I'm going backwards and left.
I can hear that in stereo.
I know.
Good. Okay. Right. Then what we need to do is switch on the left aft fuel pump and start our APU.
Excellent.
Okay. So yeah, then we just have to wait for this to fire up.
The blue light, yes. It's done.
My one's almost done. Come on. There you go. Okay, mine is done. Alright, then we can disconnect the ground power.
Yes, and remember to disconnect the ground power on the
Overhead.
on the tablet.
Yeah. Okay. I did it the other way around than you. So once I disconnected from the tablet first, it was already disconnected from the top.
All right. Okay.
Alright, okay. Okay, then back to the overhead. The next thing that we are looking for, remember it's just to the right, it's just below lavatory and just above the emergency exit lights. Your equipment supply and equipment, well, the equipment cooling and exhaust, whatever you want to call this. Okay, it's on norm. It's supposed to be on norm. Equipment cooling supply and equipment cooling exhaust, that's the right names.
Right.
Alright, then we need to put the guard down for the emergency exit lights, and we can then operate our fasten seat belts and no smoking sign. Okay, then what we need to do is check the wiper blades. They are both in park, left and right are in park. Engine start switch auto.
Yes.
Alright, then we go up to our window heat and we test it by clicking the middle button, and then we switch all four of them on.
Check.
Okay, wing and engine anti-ice, all three are off. The engine hydraulic pump 1 and 2 are on.
They're on.
The
yes.
electrical ones in the middle are off.
Are off.
Okay, then we go to the top. The trim air comes on. The trim air is the fan that circulates the air in the cabin, so that it's not just you know, in one place. It makes sure that everybody gets the same airflow. Right, then what we do is the recirculation fans need to be on auto. They are both on auto.
Yes.
The PAX switches go to auto.
To auto.
Yes, isolation valve. It goes to
okay, to auto. Okay, isolation valve.
What is open?
Open.
Engine bleed switches both on.
Yes.
And APU bleed comes on, and then you will hear the air conditioner starts blowing heavily.
Alright.
Alright, then we set our flight altitude at 230. And our landing altitude was something like 300 or 400, I can't remember. Let's check those charts.
350 or something.
Yeah, it's 374, so I'll make it 400.
Check.
Alright, back to the checklist. Okay, then we go to our MCP, and just below that is the auto brake. It needs to come to RTO. The EFIS panel shows me the engine, so we can see that what happens while we start them. That's fine. Okay, auto throttle can be armed. Right, remember your flight director for the captain on first, and then flight director for the first officer second. Both needs to be on.
Okay, check.
Okay, and then select your LNAV and VNAV and make sure the lights come on.
They do.
Alright, okay, so I've mentioned this to you before, but this is just a reminder for the people who have not heard us talk before. This is a rule of thumb. It's not an absolute, but basically if you click LNAV and VNAV at this point in time and the lights come on, you know that your programming of your FMC is proper. If it does not come on, there's a couple of reasons why it will not come on, and then I suggest you just double check everything and make sure that it should not come on. But if it comes on, it just gives me a warm fuzzy feeling that I've done my share of my programming in the FMC. Alright. Okay, so then we need to set our speed indicator.
Hold on a second. VNAV, LNAV on your checklist. You set the runway heading first, I think, or am I mistaken?
No, it comes after this. What I see, what I did change is I was supposed to do the V2. This indication of speed that I've just done was supposed to be done before we click the buttons. Okay.
Oh, you're right. So how much is? I don't remember the figure.
148. 148.
148. Okay. I'm sorry.
No worries. No.
Okay.
It's part of the learning, my friend. Part of the second. Sorry, I'm back. Okay. In Porto, what is our runway heading? Can you remember that?
171.
171. Okay, according to the charts, it's 172. Just by the way, I had the opportunity to look.
Okay, 172 it is.
Okay. Yeah, according to the charts. Okay. And then our altitude, I'm going to just set to cruise altitude. If they were ATC, they might have given us something else, but we're just going to climb straight to 230.
23, yes, flight level 230.
Alright, flight deck windows on my side, they're closed. And we can do a taxi briefing. Just let me get the chart up there and then we can just quickly talk about that. Just want to quickly bring everything on the screen here. No man, what are you doing? Sorry, bear with me 1 second. Okay, so I've brought up the chart on the screen so the viewers can also see. Mario, we're going to push back facing north, and then we're going to taxi via the Apron and Foxtrot taxiway. It's going to bring us to the runway, and we're going to hold short, do the runway entry procedure, and then what we are going to do is we're going to backtrack on the runway, turn at the very end in the area that is provided for us, do the 180-degree turn around and take off from there. Is that okay with you?
Excellent. Absolutely.
Okay. Fantastic. So our taxi briefing is completed. I love doing this with you. I can't tell you, this is just amazing. Alright, so the next thing that I'm going to do is on the tablet I'm going to go and stop the loading and cleaning, so we can change the ambience now.
Yes.
And then I'm going to click the start flight leg.
Okay, start flight leg.
Yes. And then I'm going to ground services and I'm going to call the pushback. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is section 7 of our checklist, fuel pumps. Okay, so I'm going to switch on all the fuel pumps and I'm going to activate our electrical hydraulic pumps. I'm going to make sure that
maybe we should explain why we don't use the center fuel pumps.
Okay, the reason why we're not using the center fuel pumps is because there simply isn't any fuel in there. I'm currently zooming in onto my display to show everybody there's no fuel, so there's no point in switching them on. The flight is too short, so we don't carry enough fuel to warrant that at all. That's the basic explanation. Is that okay with you, Mario?
Yes.
Alright, okay. Okay, the one thing that we need to do now, which we probably did not do earlier, and I didn't do it, is we need to check the trim. So the trim is given to us at 495, so I'm going to put it at about 5.5.
Okay, check.
Something like that. Alright, I'm going to release my parking brakes. Alright, the next step is air conditioning packs must come off. And then we can start the engines.
Yes. Right. Starting engine 2.
Correct. And then we wait for N1 of 25%, and then we're going to inject the fuel.
We should also close the door, which is closed. Okay.
Okay, I've added my fuel for that engine.
Okay.
Starting engine 1. brakes are set. Now my knob doesn't want to turn. There we go. And the next thing would be APU switch off. Browbeat switches on. Okay. And the ice as required. Air conditioning packs to auto. Isolation valve to auto. And the APU bleed comes off. Okay, pressurization is set to auto, verified. Engine start switches are set to continuous. And I can do flaps 5.
Yes.
Okay, I've got the thumbs up. I'm just going to do my welcome speech in the PA announcements. Ooh, that was dumb. The woman is already speaking. Sorry, guys. I should have waited. I didn't. I heard her speak, but it didn't compute that I have to wait. Sorry. When she's ready and we're taxiing, I'll do that speech again. Flaps 5 green light.
Check.
Runway turn off and taxi lights on.
Runway and taxi lights. Runway and taxi lights on.
I've just switched my reshade off just so that it's not that very dark.
How about wing lights?
Wing lights only. Wing lights come on when you are holding short of the runway, because that's when the Zibo mod will trigger the captain to tell the people at the back it's ready for takeoff.
Okay. Position light strobe steady.
Yes. I'm ready for taxi. I didn't do my
So
speech.
am I.
There we go. There's the welcome speech
Okay.
now. Alright, let's go. Brake check. Yeah, working. So when you get to the holding point, before you get on the runway, we need to do the runway entry procedure.
Yes.
to start to brake early with this model of Zibo because it doesn't want to stop on a dime anymore.
Yes, you're right.
I hope they either tell us how to brake properly or fix it. If it's a bug, if it's something that we can't do, you know. Because this is highly irritating having to sukkel like this. Sukkel is the Afrikaans word for struggle. I don't want to struggle. This is... Yeah, okay, I popped. Okay, so I'm ready when you're ready.
Almost.
I see my left engine is using more fuel than the right engine, so somewhere in cruise quickly what I'll do is I'll do a crossfeed and then just balance the two tanks out again. I'm not sure if yours does the same, but mine's definitely out.
Not really. Okay, I'm all set. Parking brake set.
Alright, I'm just quickly typing a note here to somebody who wanted to fly with us. I just want to tell him we can get him involved next time. Alright, okay, so section 10, transponder, T-A-R-A.
Check.
Landing lights on, runway turn off and taxi lights off. Strobe light comes on, and now we hit that wing light.
Perfect.
Then it's the weather radar and terrain.
Have a good flight.
So I do my weather radar on my left navigational display and my terrain on my right navigational display.
I'm all set.
Fantastic. Mario, let's go. Let's do this backtrack, so report ready for takeoff.
I'm ready for takeoff.
Yeah, I mean when you've turned around. Did you do that whole 180-degree turn again?
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm not sure you're going to get into the air if you do an intersection takeoff from here. This runway is too short from here. One day we were flying back from Cape Town and the captain, it was still in a Boeing 737-400. The captain decided to do an intersection takeoff. I don't know how fast he programmed that FMC, what he did in terms of that assumed temperature or what, but I tell you what, he gunned it. He went down that runway. It was like a feeling, an amazing feeling I've never had before or since. It was like a real cowboy that day.
Okay, I'm all set.
Fantastic. Okay, if you're ready, you can take off.
Okay, taking off.
Sure. We must really fix our multiplayer so we can see each other. It would have been so cool to see you now, and you me.
Yeah.
17.
Okay, I'm lining up
On
now.
runway 17.
Dogger.
I've got 17 knots wind from the left, but it's dancing like crazy.
Okay.
V1, rotate.
Rotate.
Remember the transition altitude is 4,000, okay?
Correct.
Here in Europe, so then we can switch to standard.
Yep.
400.
400. Command A. Gear off. Auto brake off. Now waiting for the flaps.
1000.
1000. This aircraft accelerates fast, eh? After takeoff checklist, landing gear up and off, autopilot on above 400 engaged, that's done, auto brake is off, flaps retracted, after takeoff
Check.
procedure checked.
Okay.
Okay, going, I'm almost at transition altitude, so we'll prepare for standard. There you go, standard set.
I've reached 10,000, so I'll switch off the landing lights.
Fantastic. I can't wait to have my Ortho for XP scenery here. To fly in
It's
a default.
beautiful.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's really beautiful. Yeah, it makes a lot of it makes a world of difference. And I switched the start switches to auto.
Fantastic.
Now we can relax for a while.
Yeah, 5 minutes. This flight
Yes,
is so
so.
short. This flight is so short.
That's the fun of it. That's the
I
fun
know,
of it because
I know.
you're doing something all the time. It's not boring.
Exactly.
I once flew from Milan to Tokyo, and I actually went to sleep, and in the morning I was when I woke up I still had approximately 1 hour before landing, so but it's not really it's not very fun. It's no fun at all. I mean, I love short flights because you're always doing something.
Exactly.
It's very entertaining and it's a learning curve.
Exactly. No, I appreciate the short flights as well, much more than any other flights. Okay, I just went through 10,000, so landing lights come off, engines to auto.
Maybe I'll try to set the map if it's not too, let's see. It's not bad. Let's see how I can do that now.
My internet speed is horrific when I use this VPN. There we go. Yeah, it's taken a long time to draw this map. I'm passing
Oh,
over.
it's okay. It's
Sorry?
it's working. It's great. I was wondering whether it affects the frames per minute. I guess it does. You know. It's very accurate, by the way.
I've got okay frames now. I'm not sure. The moment I put my frame rate monitor on, it was at 11 and 12. So I'm not sure if it's in the refresh of the map that it actually takes FPS. Eh? Let me just zoom out a little bit.
The data output. Okay. Done. I've got 20. Not too bad. 20 frames per second. Well, I know I don't have the top of the art graphic card, but 20 is acceptable.
Well, I'm running on 23. Between 22, 23, it goes up to 24 sometimes. But at least now that everything is stable and there is no refreshing and stuff on the screen, it seems quite stable, just over 20. I've reached
Yes,
25, 26 now.
20. Yes.
When I look away from the tablet, it goes to 27. So I think your answer is it does take a little bit of FPS.
No, not really.
I think it's something you have to look at over time and see, because definitely when I look at it, I lose 1 or 2 frames. And then again, now I look at it again and now it's not. So I don't know. I don't care. It looks fine and I'm above 20, so that's good enough for me.
Right. As you mentioned yesterday, maybe, and because it's a very short flight, we could check the weather in Lisbon. How do you feel
Absolutely.
about that?
We can do that. Let's do that. Winds variable at 6 knots, QNH 1015, temperature 36.
I don't understand why you get it so fast. Mine it takes for ages.
No, I'm special, I'm special.
Yeah, yeah, I know. You have connections somewhere in high places.
Yeah.
Still waiting. Okay, 1016.
Yeah, you're not using the same weather engine as me, so that's fine.
Now, when you reach the cruising altitude, come back to me because I have a couple of questions.
Sure. Well, you can talk. I'm not doing anything.
Yes, I know. Okay, we should set the altitude, the main panel, and then look at the reference speed for landing, and also set the runway heading, I guess. So, okay. V-speed, okay. Counter forecast, okay. It's all the checklist.
Right, I am now level, so let me do my level speech as well, why not? I hope the auntie doesn't speak at the same time, but anyway, let's see. Right, so now I can reset my MCP as well, and down to 3000. Oh, and remember to pull back on your throttle sticks on your...
I did, yes, I just did, because, yes, otherwise the auto throttle goes off. You're right. This is very important. It happened to me once.
It's happened to me quite a few times, and I go, I'm supposed to know this. Alright, V-speeds. Yeah, I've got a 30-degree flap speed of 150. My forecast transition level is correct, that's 4000. Let's go back there. Auto brakes at 3. Let's look at that QNH again. Where are we? 1015 for me. 1015, good one. Yes.
Because I'm close to my top of descent, I've set the altimeter to 3000.
Yes.
I set the heading to the runway heading, which is 26. I checked the VREF for 30-degree flaps, and it's 150.
Yeah, exactly.
and we already set the barometer, so it's okay. I think I haven't forgotten anything.
Nope, you did not, as far as I can hear. Your
Yeah.
if you click the descent button on your CDU and you go to forecast, is that showing you for flight level 040?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, just one comment quickly as a matter of interest. If you look at your navigational display, you have a little triangle on the outer rim somewhere. My one is about at the heading of 220, something like that. It could be 215, sorry. Do you see there's a little triangle there? Okay, that is the direction that your nose is facing. Alright. Now in real world, I've watched the guys do this. They constantly turn the heading. Sorry, give me 1 second. Sorry, okay. So what the guys in the real world do is they sit the heading bug on that triangle almost the whole time. Every time they turn, that heading bug stays on it. And the reason for that is if they get vectors, then they don't have to search for the heading bug, and the heading bug is already in a position where they can just turn it left and right to get onto a vector heading. So I just wanted to throw that little nugget in there for you, just as a matter of interest.
Okay, no, okay.
Alright, I'm slowing down for top of descent.
We still have to check one of these days why the altitudes don't match the flight plan, because it's weird.
Yeah, it is.
If we set the cruising altitude at flight level 230, the flight plan in the FMC should read 230 and not 290. This is wrong. There is something wrong.
It's definitely, but I just don't know what. One of the suggestions I have is we need to check the Navigraph data and make sure that it's not a typo in that data. So that's one of the places I will definitely check.
I know that if I put the cruising altitude before, it works.
Okay, I'll check that out. Like I said earlier, we have to test it. So then,
Yes.
then we can make a plan.
Okay, I'm starting to descend now.
Sure, I'm almost there. There's my descent as well. I don't have any clouds today. Huh? Yesterday I still had, but today there is
Nothing.
nothing.
It's real because I don't see any clouds from my window. Zero clouds.
Okay.
But it's hot and humid. Well, hot.
Mm-hmm.
30 degrees. It's not terribly hot. We had a heat wave a couple of weeks ago. The temperature rose almost to 46 degrees Celsius, which is
That's a lot, eh?
very uncomfortable. Yes, it was a nightmare for 5 days. But today it's okay. 30 something is acceptable. We are in August after all.
Mm-hmm. How cold does it get in winter in Lisbon?
Very cold. Well, in Lisbon it goes down to 5 degrees above zero,
Mm-hmm.
3 degrees above zero, which is pretty cold because people are not used. But in the north of Portugal, it snows
Mm-hmm.
and it goes well below zero.
Okay.
Nothing like Italy, of course, but still pretty cold. Okay, drag required. This is what we are doing here is I think it's a very useful work because I've seen a lot, and I mean a lot, of videos on YouTube, and I can tell you this. The people who made them are very nice people, I'm sure of that, but they're very often misleading, okay?
Mm-hmm. I
I'm
agree.
not gonna quote any names, but they're very misleading. They leave very important things out, and they make it look so easy, and then you make mistakes when you think it's too easy.
Yep, I've seen it. Someone told me yesterday, can't remember his name, he said he taught himself how to fly the simulator in 1 day. Now I don't know what the scope of his education is.
No, I have seen people do that. You fire up X-plane with engines running on the top of the runway, you hit the power, and then you take off.
Yeah, and then
That's
you
how
think,
you fly X-plane.
yes, and then you think you can fly. You understand? So anyway.
Yes, exactly. That's all. Yes, of course. You can do that with a Cessna, more or less. You fly just for fun, look around you, and then make a go around and a circuit, and then you land. This is very funny. It's great fun, but this is something else. If you want to do it
properly,
seriously, or as real as it gets, and then you should follow certain rules. That's
exactly
what I think. And this is so much more fun, I guess.
For me it is, because it's so much more real. The depth that we go to is more real than anything else. I don't do this as an arcade game. This to me is a simulator. And
no, it's not a game. So, it's not. I hate when people refer to X-Plane as a game. It's not a game. It's a simulator.
Exactly.
Whether it's very close to reality or very professional, that's another matter, a discussion for another day. But this is as real as it gets, so it's not a game. If you want to play game, play Dungeons and Dragons.
But you get a lot of people, they don't really have a passion for it. They just want something to do, and then they want to see what it looks like when it crashes and all kinds of other funny stuff. So I'm not into that.
No, absolutely.
Well, my friend, I'm
just...
sorry.
No. Okay, go. But no. I was just looking at my OPF.
I was looking at my altimeter. I just wanted to say I'm crossing 12,000 now.
I'm just passing, almost passing 10,000. So I'll switch on the landing lights, and I will switch the engine start to continuous. And this is done because
Continuous means that if you go through, let's say, lots of water when it's raining or something, the ignition is continuously igniting. So if you get like a misfire or the engine for some reason flames out, then you don't have to look for the start button. It's already igniting, you know, continuously. That's all it is. It's a safety
so
measure.
continuous.
It's just a safety
Right.
measure.
Okay.
I'm almost at 10,000 now. Right, landing lights on. Continuous ignition on. And now we wait for transition altitude. Transition flight level actually.
Yes. When you have the ortho, you will see the difference. It's really beautiful.
I can't wait. Let me see how far it is.
What's the level of zoom? What's the level of resolution? 17 or something?
I use 17.
Yes. I use it's the best compromise. I
Yes.
think.
Yeah, I agree. It's on the third last tile. Busy with the third last tile. So I've got 2 full tiles and a little bit of a third one to go.
It takes more, I guess. But you did all Portugal, all of it.
The whole of Portugal, yes.
It takes about 12 hours to do that.
In
More.
actual fact, I started probably last night, 9 o'clock. I started and it's still going. So it's almost
Yes,
24 now.
Yeah, I meant 24. Sorry. Yes, to do the whole Portugal, it's gonna take quite a bit.
Quite a bit of time.
But you should do North Africa. We'll do this flight one time from Algiers to Lisbon. North Africa with ortho 4XP is stunning. You see the Atlas, you know, the
Okay,
Atlas,
yes,
the mountains
yes,
of the
yes.
north of Africa, the desert. It's absolutely beautiful. It's
Okay.
incredibly stunning. And then you fly over the north coast of Africa, and then when you hit a city which it's called Mostagem, which doesn't matter right now, and then you turn right towards Spain across the Mediterranean, and then you fly on the coast, on the southern coast of Spain, and then direct to Lisbon, and you land on the same runway. It's coming from the south. It's an amazing flight. It's under 2 hours anyway.
Okay.
Well, of course, if you do it properly with a briefing and everything, it's well over 3 hours. But the flight itself, it's under 2 hours,
Okay.
which is okay. If you have a Sunday morning to spare, it's a perfect flight. It's very interesting. And the weather in Algiers changes continuously. Winds and hot, high temperatures and whatnot. Hold on a second here. Okay. All right. another challenge which could be interesting is flying from Lisbon to Funchal. Funchal is the capital of the Madeira Islands. And I'll tell you why it's challenging, because the runway is very short.
I know
it has
that
been prolonged with pylons.
I know.
It has a mountain on the left and the ocean on the right, so if you miss it,
you're in trouble.
You're really in trouble, really in trouble. Yes, it's very challenging.
Yeah, I love challenges like that.
Okay, standard. Here we go.
Let's go.
So, blah blah blah. Okay. Flaps, not yet. Well, I'm at 226.
You can actually pull the
put
first.
some flags.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. Progress. I like to see 15 miles. So what I'm okay. The coast is really beautiful. You're gonna enjoy the also scenery.
Oh, I'm sure. I can't
And
wait.
if you can install the X Europe scenery, it's gonna make a lot of. Hey, you got X Vision, I suppose.
I've got the Expedition. Yes.
You should. You really should. Makes a world of difference. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Big brakes. Arms. Landing gear down.
Okay, my localizer is alive. Going to flaps 10 now. Okay. Let's switch the approach on.
But I still don't have the glide slope.
Now the glide
Lights
slope,
on.
yeah, the glide slope is way above us at this distance where we turn onto finals.
That's why it's not on. Yes, not alive.
Yeah.
So I before I hit the approach, maybe I should wait for it to come alive, or doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. What I usually do is I use the VOR lock, then I lock onto the localizer. Once I'm established on the localizer, I switch on the approach button. So it works for me. Then I will wait until I'm at 10 miles. It's almost there, then I will let the gear down and do the rest of the speed and flaps. Need some turbulence here now. The whole plane jerked.
Yes. 7 knots from behind, which is weird.
Mine is still from the front. about 10 o'clock.
That's so it's the wind is coming from behind. That's not. I bet that the real would have as landing on the other runway. Okay.
Look, anything up to 5 knots is considered wind calm. We landed at Lanseria Airport the other day with a 738 coming from Cape Town. I think it was a 9-knot wind from behind, and they told me they can land up to safely up to 12. Here. Tell me.
Okay, fine. It's okay. Everything is okay.
All right.
Localizer is coming down, so it's okay.
Okay. Speed brakes down.
Yes.
Sorry, armed. Needs to be speed brakes.
Armed,
Needs to be
yes.
armed. Landing gear is down. 3 green.
Yes.
And the flaps need to go to landing now. So that's 25.
Yes. So 30.
And that's 30. And we need to go to 155. Alright, let us put our feet on the pedals, hands on the stick and throttle, and prepare for the fun to come now. I never did the crossfeed procedure. Left tank is slightly less fuel than the right tank, but it's nothing to worry about. Ever so slightly.
I read 2040 on the left and 2060 on the right. It's irrelevant, I guess.
It's very
What do
small.
you read?
Yeah, it's very small.
Yes.
206 and 207. I was just thinking it would have been nice to just do it on video, and then I clean forgot we talked about so many other things.
1,000 feet, stabilize Mr. Birch, altitude 7.
Oh, this looks so nice.
You'll see with off-road. Incredible.
I was watching one of the Zibo developers this morning on Twitch. I'm not gonna say his name so that people don't go chasing him now. And it was actually nice fun to watch him fly the Zibo. Alright, auto throttle off and autopilot off.
100,
That's the outer marker.
Okay, I'm on the ground. I've just landed at 168 foot per minute. Very good flare. It says acceptable. I don't see anything wrong with that landing, but that's the price you pay when you have a plug-in.
Approaching 17.
Okay. Speed brakes down. Auto brakes off. Okay, to clean up. Flap should retract now.
You always land before me. I know why. Because terminals are
Sorry, say again, because
way
why?
down. I said that you always take off before me and land quite. No, sorry. You take off after me and then you land before I do, because my frame rate is very slow. That's
Oh
why.
yes, yeah, it slows
Yes,
you
but
down.
it's okay. It's okay. I enjoy the landscaping. It's no
That's
big
fine.
deal.
I wish I could stop this plane when I wanted to stop it. They seriously have to tell us how to do it or fix it.
Stop
Yeah.
it how?
Well, I'm here at the. I've just turned off the runway, so now I'm pressing my pedals to stop it, and this plane just keeps on skipping ahead. I wanted to stop when I wanted to stop, you know.
And I can't seem to be able to calibrate the pedals. I do calibrate them every time, but it still steers to the right. I don't know why. Okay, I'm almost down.
Sorry, I had to just shout at the kids quickly. Okay, I'm taxiing to the stand.
Approaching 17.
I couldn't stop the plane. I don't understand. I had the speed brakes. There's something wrong with the speed here. I landed okay. It was an okay landing, and I had my speed brakes and reverse, and I hit the 80 knot. But I overshot the last taxiway. So yesterday it happened the same thing. I don't understand this. I really don't.
When you activate your reverse thrusters, do you also realize you have to push the throttle forward to make the reverse thrusters?
Absolutely.
Make it
Yes, absolutely. Yes. But it didn't stop fast enough.
Yes.
In time, and then I overshot the last taxiway. And I also had the auto brake to position 2, so it should stop, but it didn't. And so now I'm stuck in the middle of the runway, and I'm going to leave it at that because I should make a 180 turn, which is ridiculous. I don't understand this because the runway is really long. I touched down in the right spot. The speed brakes came up, all of them, and then reverse. What else can I do?
Put speed brake, the auto brake. Put the auto brake on number 3 next time. Try that because I land on 3.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Because otherwise I can never go to the parking.
Yes. I wish I could see exactly what happened, but my suggestion right now is just to put auto brake on 3. And if that doesn't help, put it on max. I mean, it's a virtual brake system. They can replace the brakes when we're done. You know, just pour some water on it, cool it down.
Okay, I'll try on 3. I'll try on 3. Next time I'll try 3. That's really okay.
It's weird.
everything is okay, so I can. I'm going to. You can do the shutdown on your
Okay.
side because I won't do it on the wrong way.
Sure.
Okay.
I forgot to switch my taxi lights on. I was listening to you and then I did the checklist,
Sorry.
everything else. No,
I'm
no, not
sorry.
your fault. Not your fault. My stupidity. Oh, stop now. Stop. Yeah, I have to pump these brakes. It's like I'm driving a bus, you know, and you've got to get the air brakes pumped up. Alright, parking brake set. Okay, after landing, let us see. Oh, and another thing I did not do was the APU. So let's skip the APU and let us put the chocks and get the ground power unit going. So we don't need the APU, and then we kill the engines. Chocks are in place, so the aircraft shouldn't run away like yesterday. That was so funny, huh? When I looked up, I was on the other side of the taxiway.
That's yes. Yeah.
Alright, so
You will tell me if the video comes out okay. Okay.
Yes, I
if
will.
it's okay, you will send me the link. Okay.
yes,
Thanks.
100%. I'll put it on
How
my
long-
YouTube
how
channel.
long we-
Sorry?
Yes. That's the whole purpose, I guess.
Yes.
When it's edited, I suppose.
Yes, absolutely. It'll take me a day or two to just edit
It's
it,
it.
and then we can do that.
Okay.
Transponder standby. That was done. Right,
It's gonna be a hit.
I hope so. I hope the guys
I'm
enjoy
preparing
it. Tell me.
ammunition.
Right, no smoking and seatbelts off. Anti-collision light is off. Fuel pump switches off. Cabin and utilities. Alright, those two can come off. Anti-ice check was off. Hydraulic electrical switches off. Your damper off. Recirculation fan off. Air conditioning packs on. Isolation valve auto. Packs auto. Engine bleed switches, they're fine. APU, it's already off. Alright, emergency lights. Alright, window heat all off. Alright. Move in the right direction. Okay, now the packs come off. Standby power switch comes off, and the battery switch goes off. There we go, golden dark again. Mario, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, Nikos. Thank you. I'm very happy to have done this flight.
Fantastic.
It's been an excellent experience.
Yeah, same here.
Let's
I really
hope
enjoyed
this one sticks. Yes. Okay.
So I don't know at this point in time of any reason why I cannot edit and publish it, but we will see. And guys, if you watched it, thank you very much. Please leave your comments and requests and all the other nice things, and remember to like the video as well.